Hello, everyone. Jim Biringer here, back again, NHLRumors.com. Please click that subscribe button. Give the video a like. We're talking about Dylan Cozens, the trade market. Boy, oh boy, it's heating up again. We were talking about it prior to the holiday trade freeze back in December. Dylan Cozens' name out there. Buffalo Sabres, the Vultures are circling, but his name is heating up again. Why? Because the center market is kind of dwindling, right? Brock Nelson's name is out there, but isn't really out there with the New York Islanders because they're still kind of in the mix. And after that, it's really like depth forwards, Ryan O'Reilly's, you got the Scott Loutons, you got the Jake Evanses out there. There's really not a great center market. Yes, Elias Pettersson's name's out there. Go check that video out talking about the Vancouver Canucks. It's going to be linked in here. However, you look at Dylan Cozens, right? Buffalo Sabres got about 6 years left, $7.1 million, big new contract. Is the team really going to want to take that on? Well, apparently, according to Kevin Weeks and some sources out there as well, you got the Calgary Flames, Montreal Canadiens, Toronto Maple Leafs, Nashville Predators, Chicago Blackhawks are circling. Your Philadelphia Flyers are out there. Detroit Red Wings around there as well. So those teams are looking at Dylan Cozens. Now, obviously, we know with Toronto, right? You have Mitch Marner, UFA. You have John Tavares, UFA. They bring in a guy like Cozens. Are they really going to bring a guy like Tavares back? Though he's been a great center this year. He's really played, as one of their best players, and you probably could get him on like a nice deal. Could be a little bit more expensive than you originally thought it was going to be, but you could bring him back. But if you bring in Cozens, does that mean the end of Mitch Marner? Because Marner wants to stay, doesn't he? And is he going to get Willie Nylander money? But that's a topic for another day on NHLRumors.com. Then you have the Calgary Flames. We've been reporting age-appropriate center. Yes, they just traded for Morgan Frost and Joel Farabee, but they're still looking for a right shot center. They have the pieces that can work, but right now it doesn't seem imminent, but that could change. Detroit and Buffalo were close before the trade freeze. Elliot Friedman reported that. They were trying to get after it again. Didn't really get anything there. We know Steve Yzerman likes to swing for the fence, but what could they give up? Obviously, the Montreal Canadiens, it would be a heavy, heavy price. Marco D'Amico even said it. You're going to give up a top prospect. You're giving up one of those first-round picks. Do they really want to give up one of those first-round picks? Could a guy like Kirby Dach be going back? Because the Buffalo Sabres want something comparable. They may not win a Dylan Cozens trade, like the Vancouver Canucks may not win an Elias Pettersson trade, but they're going to want a player like that. So say they trade with Vancouver. It's probably Elias Pettersson. Are you throwing in a Bo Byram or let's just say, for instance, a Power as well as part of that deal, and something else is going back? Maybe. Do the Canadians look at another option like a Casey Middlestad? Teams looking at Casey Middlestad because Colorado doesn't really like him as a second-line center. But again, that all depends on if Gabriel Landeskog's coming back. So Nashville's looking to do something. We saw what they did. They cleaned out a lot of money before the holiday trade freeze. Been really kind of quiet. Could they take a swing? What about Columbus? Could Columbus take a swing? We know Donnie Waddell says he wants to be a buyer. Could that be a place Dylan Cozens goes? There's probably a couple other teams out there. There's always mystery teams. But if the Buffalo Sabres are going to trade him in the division, in the conference, and they're going to continuously see a player, they're going to want a hefty return. Not to mention Buffalo wants to make the playoffs. So if you trade him to a division rival like Toronto, like Montreal, you're going to have to see him 3-4 times a season. He could keep you from going to the playoffs. So my guess, if he does get moved, he goes west. And if he does go to a place like Nashville, Tommy Novak's going in return, probably along with some picks. Brian O'Reilly's not leaving. He would not go back to Buffalo. Even though he doesn't have a no trade clause, no move clause, he's not going back to Buffalo. So the market's there, but it's not because of what the return is. It's a high return. It's a high cost. You got to blow Buffalo out of the water because they really want to keep this guy because they know what's happened in the past. You look at the Jack Eichels, the Sam Reinharts. Go down the list of guys that have left Buffalo and have become players elsewhere. Casey Middlestad, to an extent, not really. And he was supposed to be a savior in Buffalo. They got a lot of guys teams are calling on. JJ Peterka's one. Bo Byram's another. Jack Quinn's another. They got players that teams want. However, Dylan Cozens is the most wanted man in the National Hockey League right now. Like I said, Brock Nelson probably going to stay with the Islanders. So if that's the case, the market dwindles. He's a controllable asset. Teams want a controllable asset. A lot of teams want controllable assets. The way Donnie Waddell was talking, he wants a controllable asset. Calgary wants one. Vancouver wants one. They all want somebody, and everybody wants a center. But the market's just not there because there's a drop-off after Dylan Cozens. It'll be interesting to see what the Sabres do, to be honest, because if they don't move him, teams are going to call in the offseason. They don't have to move him now. He is a contributor, but he's having a down year. Could that hurt the return for the Buffalo Sabres? It might. Injury could play a factor as well. It might. So there's a lot of factors to determine what the Buffalo Sabres are going to do. But Kevin Adams is taking calls on him. Taking calls on other players as well. Teams around the league are looking for centers. Looking for young, controllable players. We saw the Mikko Rantanen deal. We saw the JT Miller trade. There could be another blockbuster coming. Heck, could Boston take a swing? Why not, right? Look at it. The money could work. Send Brandon Carlo and Pavel Zacha up to Buffalo. You get your centers down the middle, but is Dylan Cozens really the 1C that the Boston Bruins really need? Because Elias Lindholm isn't right now, and they need that. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Buffalo Sabres do, where Dylan Cozens go, but the market is heating up for Dylan Cozens. The trade deadline's approaching March 7th. Four Nations faceoffs right around the corner. Jim Biringer, NHLRumors.com. Again, stay notified, subscribe to the channel, like the video. We'll be back again real soon. Take care.